In the busy city of Chicago, Michael Turner, a 32-year-old office manager, was struggling with something he never really spoke about openly, something that made him feel isolated and uncertain about his health and confidence, and that issue was his constant feeling of low energy, lack of consistency in his workouts, and difficulty maintaining focus at work, which slowly affected his relationship with his girlfriend Jessica, a 29-year-old school teacher who lived with him in a small apartment overlooking Lake Michigan, and even though she was loving, supportive, and caring, Michael always felt like he was letting her down because his energy faded too quickly and his motivation slipped when he needed it most. So one afternoon, after a particularly long and exhausting meeting where he felt like he couldn't stay focused, he sat at his desk and decided to search online for natural ways to boost energy and stay strong throughout the day, and what he discovered completely changed his life. Because he found a video by a motivational coach named Daniel Brooks, who lived in Los Angeles and specialized in men's health, mindset, and natural strength building. And in that video, Daniel said something that stuck with Michael. "Give me 10 minutes a day, and I'll show you how to stay strong and confident without pills, without shortcuts, just using your body, your focus, and your consistency." And that message hit Michael harder than anything he had heard before, because it wasn't about fake promises or unrealistic advice. It was about discipline, energy, and balance. So Michael decided right there to commit to a 10-minute routine every morning, a simple but powerful practice that Daniel outlined, which included breathing exercises, stretches, bodyweight squats, push-ups, and a short burst of cardio to wake up the muscles and get the blood flowing. And the first morning when Michael tried it, Jessica woke up and watched him from the couch with a smile, surprised to see him full of energy at 6 in the morning, and she said, "I haven't seen you this motivated in months," which gave him an extra push. And by the time he was done with the routine, he felt awake, focused, and lighter than he had in years. And that day at work, he noticed that his concentration was sharper, his posture was better, and he carried himself with more confidence. And when he got home, Jessica hugged him and said he seemed different in the best way. And over the next few weeks, as Michael stuck with the 10-minute plan, his energy grew stronger, his sleep improved, his mood lifted, and even his relationship with Jessica felt brighter because instead of coming home drained and quiet, he came home with stories, with laughter, and with genuine joy. And he realized that staying strong wasn't just about the physical side. It was about mental clarity, emotional stability, and healthy routines. So after a month, he reached out to Daniel Brooks directly through an online coaching program and share his progress, and Daniel responded with encouragement and advice, telling him to now combine the routine with mindful eating habits, hydration, and intentional breaks during his workday, and Michael followed it carefully, adding more vegetables, drinking more water, and walking outside during lunch breaks in Chicago's Millennium Park, which helped him release stress and reset his energy. And slowly, but surely, his coworkers began noticing the changes too, asking him why he seemed more vibrant, more engaged, and more confident in meetings, and Michael would smile and say, "It only takes 10 minutes a day," which made everyone curious, and soon a few of them asked him to share the routine so they could try it as well. And what started as a personal struggle turned into a quiet leadership role at work where he motivated others to feel stronger and more focused. And back at home, Jessica felt proud of him, telling her friends that she had never seen Michael so dedicated and balanced. And that positivity reflected in their relationship as they spent more time walking by the lake, cooking healthy meals together, and laughing about small things. And Michael realized that the promise Daniel made in that video wasn't about some magic formula, but about small, consistent actions that transform everything else. So after 3 months of practicing it daily, Michael took a trip with Jessica to New York City to celebrate their progress. And while walking through Central Park, he told her how close he had been to giving up, how he almost accepted that low energy and lack of strength was just his new normal. But then he realized that he still had power over his health, his focus, and his life. And Jessica held his hand and said, "That's what I love about you. You never really quit. You just needed a reminder." And he smiled, knowing she was right. And by then, he was so consistent that the routine didn't feel like a task anymore. It felt like brushing his teeth, something automatic that kept him grounded and focused. And his story didn't stop there, because after 6 months, he decided to create his own small men's support group in Chicago, where a handful of his colleagues and neighbors would meet on Saturdays to practice the 10-minute routine together and talk about ways to improve diet, energy, and focus. And soon the group grew bigger, with people from all backgrounds joining in. And Michael became a local motivator, sharing his journey without shame or ego, simply telling people that the biggest shift came from deciding not to give up and giving himself 10 minutes a day. And one afternoon, as he stood in front of the group with Jessica cheering him on, he thought about that first video and how skeptical he had been. And now he was living proof that a small, consistent action could change an entire life. And with that, he promised himself that no matter where he lived, whether it was Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles, he would carry this practice and share it with others, because it wasn't just about staying strong. It was about living fully, loving deeply, and never letting excuses steal your best years. And that powerful realization gave him a purpose greater than himself. And he knew that if he could keep going, others could too. So whenever people asked him how he turned things around, his answer was always the same: give me 10 minutes, and I'll show you how to stay strong, because he had lived it, proved it, and believed it with every part of his being.